commercials. Have you seen the Xifaxan commercial? I went and I did this, and they gave me drugs, and now I don't do that anymore. So, what about the insurance rate from USAA just staying put and it's cheaper? Well, money's not real, right? So, like that slot machine commercial, the slot on your phone, and you're like, you do know that's a computer program and it can do whatever it wants. No, you go, okay. They can't do that. They have to play within the rules. And the rule of money is what? Okay. So, here, take your drugs. You won't be disoriented. Go back to extortion, exploitation. Everything will be better tomorrow. Yeah. So, when you have these kind of thought processes, and then this smell like a grown-up Duke Cannon, right? Smell like a chemical factory. Okay. Smell like a human being. That's hard to do when people use chemicals to try to poison you to death. Don't smell too good, right? I always smelled pretty good and taste pretty good, even in Phoenix, yeah, when I was younger. But the more I stood for righteousness, the more the people that are not righteous tried to abuse me and get me to, okay, they're like, what? Okay, let's play those slot machines on my phone for make-believe money. Then if I win, I feel happy, right? You get people, you get people that think, they can, when they feel powerful, which is ridiculous, when they can manipulate you, You ever read Machiavelli? Okay. Mein Kampf. Communist Manifesto. Just about any of the documents written down by great thinkers that have these great ideas. Like when you read Aristotle and Plato, right? Plato has a perception of what Socrates is saying. Okay. And Socrates is saying, that the group has relative eternal effects on one another, right? But it doesn't delve into it to the point of like the stories of Adam and Lucifer, right? Now, in ancient times, you get a large group of people, you can sit and explain to people like I do now, God ain't up on the mountain, because you'll hear people sing, as sure as I'm as sure as I am that there's a heaven above, Alfie, and love comes from up above. It's like, yeah, but if rain comes and washes all your family away because they didn't build an ark, is that love from up above? Is that love washing away the bad so you can start good again? How do you see this? How does this happen? What's going on, right? And so when you look at your limited perception of life and existence, okay, as, God and God's gift in God, right? And when you look at these types of perceptions, you have to realize that, God's omniscient and omnipotent. Life is eternal and grace is infinite. The omnipotent, omniscient essence is omnificent, do you understand? Okay. So, you cannot limit God to your own understanding, right? That's wrong to do. That's like trying to put the Pacific Ocean in a bottle and then hold it hostage. Okay, Simon Bar Sinister and Riff and Cad. That's his sidekick, Cad. Riff Raff is the wolf guy that, right? Okay. Getting my characters from, hey, underdog, you underdog. Simon says, dry up. Right. I'm watching the Mud one. He comes in all calm, trying to run away with these women, and then they go to beam them over, and he's all calm about it after the ship blew up and stuff, and it's like, if these were his, like, his livelihood or whatever, don't you think he'd be a tad bit more worried that these three ladies would, seen the Mud's wife one and stuff? It's weird what men's, using my imagination, right? What Oompa Land does to people. Yeah, want to play the slot machines? Here, take your drugs. Don't drive around disoriented. You don't need to be extorted or exploited. You don't have to pay less money to keep yourself safe from money with insurance they call money, right? That's crazy. I know. But does Jesus know you? See, if you don't know me and you can't understand me, okay, you wouldn't understand the living David or Jesus, okay? The David and Jesus on TV with the kid on the movie, right? Hey, the little girl in the pink dress is the one that was making out with Chekhov in Tombstone. Yeah. She's been on before. Yeah, that's her. That's the one that Morgan Earp was married. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Just observation. Just observing. Okay. That's the little girl from the bar. Tombstone. I've never seen the one in the green dress, but the devil in the green dress. Yeah, she's good looking. Well, I've seen this one before, but it's television. It's Hollywood. It's producers and directors, girlfriends. Okay, come up with a good script for my girlfriend to be in the movie. Funny. No, it's true. There's nothing so because I know right about this minute I'm in it, admit it, I did it for you. Because this is what I'm into. Right? Television is so weird, isn't it? Yeah, they're cute. But that raging hormone thing they do. Nah, when I was out there doing my yard work today, I told the guys to go clean up and stuff like that, and then I had a lot to do, and I had to make sure I do it too. Go wash and shower and get my clothes ready to do the laundry. Wash your clothes because of all the chemicals that can get on and make you sick. And a little song came on by Jermaine Jackson, right? And you said, son, go out and search around. There's a good girl who's out there to be found. It's like, to be found. Okay. Why do I need to go looking for a good girl to sexually reproduce? Okay. Mom, am I standing up for the Lord's Prayer? No. Okay. Well, if I'm good for nothing, what makes me think I'm going to find me a woman to love and have faithful kids with that are good for something? Ooh, right, love is a sacred thing. That's we said it was from above, because it was a limerick. Tommy Edwards. I was out there cutting the weeds, weeder eater. And so you guys got to understand, love isn't sent from up above. Okay. Love is humble, faithful, eternal understanding of gratitude for the gift of this life through holy covenants. And it doesn't come from up above. Those are your testes. That's and all this stuff. In order to continue loving, you got to hit the mark. And you got to take care of your wife, make sure she's healthy, her teeth don't fall out because her malnutrition and so on, so on, and so forth, right? And so, it's muy, muy más importante, to don't go around looking for, that girl, right? I met three in my life that were very strong about, three of them that I was like, wow, if the conditions had been right, me and her would have had a really good life. Okay. There was a girl named Gomez, a girl named Montalvo, and a girl named Bowen. Uh, and, if the conditions had been right, oh, my mom would have loved Michelle. She never met her. She never met her. Mom would have been like, you ought to maybe that one. My mom would have just, you can ask Patrice. Oh, yeah, my mom would have loved Michelle. She'd just been, oh, she's wonderful. And Miriam, mom liked Miriam. And just, the funny thing is Leos are square mom. She was a Scorpio, but that's who mom wanted me to be with, was the Leo. And I was with a Gemini. But mom didn't want me to be at the Gemini. She goes, she's told what to do by her mom, and she's awfully materialistic. Mom never met Edna. Yeah. Edna was not materialistic. No, she wasn't. She was attractive. She designed her own clothes. She had the body for, oh my God. But she wasn't materialistic. She was about taking care of her son. She was about protecting her son. She was about finding someone that would help her protect and take care of her son, so he would grow up to be a good man. Okay, that was my Edna Gomez. She was, and a very exciting girl, right? She was something special. And Miriam was the same way about her boys. She was just looking for nub in all the wrong places. She thought it was more of a macho thing. Edna was a little bit more astute, because she got the guy who was the drug dealer, was and not up to no good and doing things, and she got deceived, and then realized she didn't want to be a part of that deception anymore. She wanted to make sure that the guy was 100 proof, get to know him, and then make sure that he would not do anything selfish to hurt him or hurt her or the children or himself. Right. So she was very special. And we didn't get to be together because of all the contributions from viewers like you. And when you're a man and you're faithful, you can see and feel faith for eternal love in a woman's eyes. You know. Okay. Ooh, right. And you don't, I was watching what are those things called? Press conferences, yeah. For the sports thing where Memo was giving them a hard time. Hey, Matt Damon sucks, right? And all that stuff. And it's like I told you, I would have played for about 4 years. I don't like I did not like pep rallies. And it wasn't that I didn't like the people. Okay. I'm the type of person that would go, out with the crowd and hang out, and, because all the kids that were bullied in Deer Valley up in Glendale, Keith and Bill and the others, they were like, damn, Earl, they were all excited. He's the best basketball player I've ever seen. And they wanted me to play, and they would tell their friends, we got to go watch this guy. And he's nice. He protects us from the bullies, which were the jocks, right? But the jocks wouldn't let me play. They told everybody I was a drug dealer and a thug, and which I wasn't, but I had a reputation of I could kick your ass because me and my boy Gaines from Detroit. And I didn't alter that reputation. I just let them, people, talk. I know the neighborhood, and talking cheap is talking is good, right? And so they talked all that bad stuff about me, like what happened with Amy. I had a reputation of being a ladies' man. I told her, no, that's not true. I'm a goo. I'm a little Molly Mormon dad. Yeah. I just have a badass reputation to protect the bully from the bullies, and because I live in, my ex-wife lies to the courts and takes all my money, and me and Patrick live in the ghetto, and I have to throw drug dealers out of the apartments and stuff. So I have this reputation that precedes me. I'm a bad boy that's a complete dork and a nerd, right? And I would try to act as dorky and nerdy as I could, so not to offend or make people mad or get them get the wrong impression. Or you looking at me, Carnon? But like I said, when I was here in Cruces, Mom didn't let me. Mom would get so mad. We go to the mall, right? Hey, you know how they are in Las Cruces. You looking at my girl, Carnon? Right? Well, yes, I am. I can't believe you let her go out the house with that and look at that hair. Oh my gosh, we're going down to the bookstore, me and my mom, and there's some health books and some fashion magazines I could help her read. Come on, let's go. My mom would be like, Earl. It's like, you know what homophobes do to homosexuals? I'd love to see him try, mother. That's what I would always say. I would love to see his ass try. And she would think something wrong with me because I was not a big kid, you know. I was 5'11", a $150 soaking wet. Okay. And I did not work out excessively. I did not do handstands. I could not walk on my hands around a city block. I could not, I could run for miles. I was the fastest human on the planet, but I didn't know because I didn't try to race people because I didn't like to upset them. Like when we played soccer. When we first started playing soccer, it's one of the first things we played when in PE, and I was the best. And I was little. I was younger. I was a year behind. All the other kids were putting Paul, because of his birthday, was older than me because the time he was born in October, so his mom put him in later into school. I was born in July, so it just so happened I turned that age and then went right into class, right? Right into school. Turned 6. First grade started that September, right? Paul was born in October, so he was 6 when we started first grade, and then turned 7 that first semester. Okay, so that's why his mom waited till he was, that age, and then he turned the age, and then she put him into school when he was the right age appropriate. But his birthday was in October and mine was in July. So Paul was older than, you get what I'm saying? Okay. So I had just turned 6, starting 6th grade. Paul was already 6 and turned 7, okay, by October that school year, when we were in school. He didn't show up till like 2nd or 3rd grade, but yeah. So do you understand it? And most of the other kids in our school were Hispanic and Mexican and Spanish speakers, and were like Pepino was like when we were, and Jerry Garcia too, and a lot of the guys we were in school with when we were 10, they were 12 and 13 years old. Okay. Your best buds. Like on Half Baked and stuff. Yeah. So listening to the guy that brought from home when we were supposed to be doing the lessons and brought the Cheech and Chong records and right. And your first try of Mota out on the playground. So you know what I'm saying. So it's kind of funny. But that's the way love goes, babe. That's the music God way made for all of philanthropy. It never does good. It is just, get high and buff the wood. It's horrible. Right? It's horrible to do to children. It's horrible to do to people. Families don't have any meaningful relationships. They don't have any meaningful time or true intelligent conversation and understanding of nature, and it's all about invention and great ideas and do as you're told because I'm brilliant and I'm great and your time is my time and time is money, right? It's like, Jesus help us. Well, Jesus is a cartoon character given to you by the Vatican in your head. And so it says in the book of Revelation that the guy most like Jesus is named Earl and is the son of Ralph and Mary, born in Las Cruces, New Mexico, in the 20th century. So that's the guy that's like Jesus today, is the guy, the guy before Jesus was a man named David. But there probably was other, because there was a large time discrepancy between David and Jesus. Okay, so there would have been other people quietly, His name's Job. His name is Elijah. His name's Jeremiah, right? That just quietly And then one day they died, and their graves were side by side on a hill where robins sing. Right. And, like Malachi. Oh, never mind. Okay. Well, Malachi's the one, like, Malachi is the line of Melchizedek and Abram. And Malachi is the one, like, the kid up in Albuquerque, that Isaac Paul Benegas, the one in his long prophecy. Yeah. The uncle that it says in the Quran of the throne of the same house, and both have mothers named Mary. And so it's neat. It's neat the way the books, when you understand eternity and you can explain Malachi and Abram and Abraham and so forth, and you can explain, no, they turn the stories into myth, and here's what really happened. Okay. It's nice. So it helps you understand eternity better. It also helps you understand the eternal spirit of a woman. And if you give a woman hell, she's going to give you hell. And if you give a woman heaven, she's going to tell you to accept hell because they'll kill you. And I'll have to, it's hard. Do you know what it's like for a woman to fall in love with a man like David or Jesus? And they all get together and crucify Jesus, and then you have to go have children with Caiaphas or Herod or Caesar. All right. A man with an ego problem who will walk 5,000 people off a cliff just to prove a point. Yeah. And then there's Jesus, who will walk innocently to a hypocrisy execution to stand up for the value of every child, so no man could be turned into a centurion walked off a cliff by an egomaniac. Because no. And then they're like, "Would you?" No, they tried to throw him off of a cliff in Nazareth. There's a story about it. Yeah. Didn't happen. No, he was going to take them both with. Come on, let's go. And everybody wanted those two to go over the cliff more than Jesus. Right? So they balked. And so I was like, and everybody's like, no, Jesus wasn't going to die. He was going to grab the two of them, have them out in front of him, use them as a buffer. Fall into that doesn't, sounds like King David to me. That doesn't sound like Jesus. That's not a kind beloved. He never said he was a God. He said he was the gracious good shepherd that protected people from people that turned God into a possessive pronoun, first person, murdering, marauding rapist. Okay, a manipulator, a deceiver. Satan is a deceiver. Lucifer is a deceiver. Okay. So, like when they would go, they tell people, you got to go up on the mountain. You'd go, okay, I'll go up to Appease and go on the mountain to get alone and to pray. And then you would look Lucifer in the eye and say, since everybody's going to be watching you to make sure you don't go up there to try to kill me, say goodbye to whatever buddy you send off to do it. Because I'll come back, but he won't. So if you want something done, try to do it yourself. What happened? Lucifer is what Lucifer does. Poison, assassination, all the most cowardly, selfish, disgusting means of trying to murder an innocent, protecting, gracious good shepherd so they can be large and in charge. That's what they'll do. And they won't stand up to tell the truth about what happens to the gracious good shepherd to save their own children from growing up to be like them. That's horrible, yeah. So we'll just have to just keep being right, being good, and being truthful so lie doesn't corrupt the true beauty of women, right? Because children are cute when they're loved by faithful people, right? Okay, I love you guys, man. We'll talk later. All right, peace out.